Have you ever seen lightnofire like this? There are a few new secrets discovered in the trailer and in the official screenshots. There are some things that appear for just a fleeting few moments, a kind of structure that appears for 2 seconds and is only fully visible for 2/3 of a second. Why is it that Hello Games gave us 11 structure types, 10 creature types and 10 character types in the trailer, but only 2 types of boats and barely 3 or 4 types of mounts? I'm Good Guys Free, so let's get counting. The first scene introduces us to 3 biomes. The party of 4 characters appears to be standing in a mountainous forest biome. Down below, we see 2 areas of flat forest. And we've all seen the trailer. The waters are another biome. The only identifiable type of tree are these red-orange ones. And there's one structure that looks like a stone tower down below. There are 3 identifiable character races and 1 unclear. There's only 1 type of weapon, bows. But this looks like the hilt of a sword. There are 2 sailboats down below, and there's 1 character with a backpack. The only creature type other than characters here are the faraway birds. It will be very interesting to see what actually happened there that this bird seems to rejoin the flock. The only remaining mystery in this scene is the hooded fella. What race is he, she? This character is standing on higher ground, but looks much taller too. In the next scene, we see 2 new types of trees. There's another structure, the monolith thingy. The character has different horns than the ones before, so I'll count that as a different race. And finally, we see the first type of rideable mount. What is this creature? Feel free to suggest in the comments. What other things do we want to know in this scene? What is this artifact, monolith? What interaction will we have with it? The next scene treats us to a savanna desert biome. There are no trees, only what looks like broken, desiccated tree stumps. How many types of structures should we count for those ruins up ahead? I don't know. I'll count just 1 for now. We know from Sean Murray's tweets that the skeletons are not likely to be playable as your character, so not counting them as a new race. I will count them as creature types. Are the smaller skeletons a different type? I'll hold judgment on that for now. The skeleton seems to have a large axe on its back. Is that a weapon we could use? Probably, but I am not going to count it just yet. The little skeletons have hammers. Let's wait with counting those. And are those ears? There are plenty of open questions here. What are those ruins? Are they an entrance to a dungeon? And what are those billowing yellow smoke plumes? And more. This scene appears to be in a flat forest biome, but the trees are all red and even the ground seems to be different. Counting this as a different biome. The trees are the same as the red tree from the monolith scene. But the faraway giant orb is not natural. It is a structure of some kind. The party of 4 with their backs to us has the middle 2 members of races we've seen by the types of the horns. The one on the right is hard to identify, but the one on the left is clearly some kind of half-ogre maybe? Definitely a separate race. His glowing sword generates a bluish reflection on his palms and is without doubt a special type of weapon. Looking at the backpacks, we see 3. But the one on the right cannot be identified. It is obscured by the vegetation. The one second from the right is also too blurry and dark to see any features. Even the second one from the left is hard to characterize. It is definitely a separate type of backpack than the one from the opening scene. Already mentioned this biome, and already in this first shot, we see a boat. This boat's characteristics are its hull shape, which I have highlighted here, the boat's sail, and the small flag and brass-looking mast-top ornament. It is hard to see, but not impossible, that the 2 ships or boats from the opening scene are probably the same type, so not counting this as a new type. We also already see at least 1 type of fish. As we zoom out, we can't help but notice the giant octopus. And right here is another type of fish. This character seems to be carrying a hammer or an axe, we can't really tell. And this guy's backpack is the same type of backpack as the one from the first scene, only this one is all yellow and with a rolled sleeping mat. More of the second type of fish, and those kelp trees, not counting them as trees really. We see other swimmers with backpacks and maybe other character races, but it's hard to tell them apart. Out of the water and into the Lush Valley biome. And we're immediately treated to a gust of air from the dragon's wings. That's another rideable mount. The trees in this segment we've all seen before, but notice the dragon's tail. There are other dragons, but for simplicity, we'll treat all dragons as equal. Look here in the bushes, another kind of creature. What is it? The scene cuts here to 3 very short flash scenes. Each is only 20 frames, 1/3 of a second. In this scene, we see a new biome. I call it Mountain Tundra. The character's staff is clearly a weapon of some kind. We will see this kind of staff being carried by other characters later in the trailer. What is this floating cube? A structure of some kind. What are those weird strands? They almost look like hoisting cables. And the shape of this character's backpack? It's the same as the one in the Red Forest scene. The next flash scene shows 3 characters using hang gliders. Now, hang gliders are not mounts, but they are rideable, so I'll count them. See the shape of the backpack? Same as the one from the first scene. And look at that glowing blue blade again. I'm gonna get me one of those for sure. This last one of the 3 flash scenes holds a secret. Yes, it is in rain. And yes, it's all bluish, but this scene happens in the same biome as the skeleton scene. See the barren trees, the desiccated broken tree stumps? They are the same. And of course, we see the giant birds, another type of rideable mount. Now finally we get a close look at this type of backpack. Vertical cylinder shaped with nice embroidery looking material. Back to the valley biome scene, we see plenty of trees, but not enough difference to make a distinction. We've seen these types already. Here we see 2 buildings. The one on the left is still being constructed, and we see stone blocks being erected, while the other seems to be all wood and with a thatched roof. Is this a separate type of structure? I think both are player-made, so I'll count them as one type. What about this one that we've seen in my previous video? I think it's different enough to count as a separate type. Now let's back up a bit and check out some other things we see. This character is carrying a stone axe. We've seen those before. The character carrying the log looks like a bear. Using the official lightnofire screenshots, we can see some things more clearly. For example, the embroidered type of backpack for the character carrying the log, and the female character using another stone axe to gather wood. Zooming on the builder, we see that pig is another character race. This image had another surprise for me. See the outline of a structure behind the trees? We'll see it a bit later in the trailer. The trailer continues and cuts again to 3 more flash scenes. The first flash scene shows us another 4 boats, all the same as the ones we've already seen. There's a dragon, but we said we'll consider all dragons equal. There are 3 characters. 2 appear to be human, but the third looks like a badger. The weapon on the back of the human on the shore is probably a bow, judging by the markings. But the backpack looks like it's made of clay or something. What do you think? In the next scene, we see a kind of buffalo creature being hunted. Down below near the water is another creature we can't identify. We do see a rabbit character, and the others are not possible to identify. But look at the ears on this archer. Are they horns? Probably ears, but still, we can't identify something specific to count. The last scene in this group of flash scenes shows these crabs. The big one is just a bigger version of the smaller ones. Their mom? Dad, maybe? The main character is probably human, and in the back left are 2 more characters. One is a rabbit, and the other we can't really tell. The weapon is a flaming sword. Is it a separate type from the blue glowing swords we've seen? We don't know. For now, we'll leave the count as is. Lastly, the backpack is of a type we've already seen. As the valley biome scene continues, characters mount their dragons and giant birds and quickly take to the skies. If you blinked, you missed the unique structure I talked about in the beginning of the video. I'll get back to it, I promise. As we see the lake, an abandoned black tower rises from the water. I think this is the structure we saw behind the trees. A few more wing flaps and a new type of water vessel is revealed. We see 4 rafts, each with a segmented white sail. Closer to the lakeshore, we can see the beautiful, colorful coral reef below the surface and some buildings on the shore. Up ahead, giant, towering boulders. I wonder what they are. Natural? Let me know what you think. I know, I promised. There's a teepee right there. It's not the only type of structure that appears only once, but I think it's so fleeting, I must have missed it like 100 times. The trailer cuts into 3 more flash scenes that add a couple of mysteries but add nothing to our inventory. The first shows a rider on a large dragon in rain with large storm clouds. This is the second scene in the rain, together with the previous flash scene. The backpack of the rider is impossible to distinguish, as is his race. Are these different types of horns? We can't be sure. The second scene in this group shows a rider of a known race on a giant bird with a backpack that may be a different type, but it's too hard to tell for sure. The last flash scene in the group has a different character on a similar looking dragon. His backpack is of a type we've already seen, and the only mystery here is this thing on the little hill. Flying up the mountain face, we pass by the flaming signal building, and we see the floating island structure far and below. This building brings up so many questions, but this is for a different video. Next is another scene in the rain. It is also the only scene that's definitely during the night. Let's back up a bit. This scene makes me believe that a fox-like race is possible. This shape of ears could fit certain types of cats and other animals, but the other characters in the scene have the same shape ears with bushy tails that fit a fox-like race much more. And here we see several interesting things. First, these three backpacks are the same, and of a type we've already seen. However, this looks much more rectangular, a type we haven't seen yet. These two shadow creatures are spooky. Counting. Remember that staff weapon? Here is another one of the same kind. Is the Waking Titan another creature? Well, I don't think we're going to meet more than one of those. I believe this is a boss to fight. But there's another mystery for you. What are these vertical lines falling from his face? Waiting for your comments. Next, we ride through a semi-dry savanna. We have an official screenshot from this scene, so let's use it. This fast-paced ride features the largest group of characters together, 8 in total. Number 8 is hard to see. I'll zoom for you. Before we continue, consider hitting that like button. Alright, we don't see much new here except for 2 new types of trees. The famous rabbit court scene. This is not a new biome, but I will count this as a new structure. Here too, we have an official screenshot, so let's explore it. Under this line, we see only rabbits. But zooming in on this character, he looks like an otter. And while we're at it, this looks like a cutlass blade. Zooming out a bit, we see this badger type character and the human stepping ahead. Zooming in on the giant in the corner, he looks strange, weary. I have doubts that he could be a playable character, counting as a creature. Notice the double-sided axe and swords next to him? Interesting. But let's rewind. In the opening moments, we already see the human's backpack is segmented, counting as a new type. A little further, we see this longsword. Again, behind those chairs, we see a set of sword hilts and a double-sided war axe. The final scene gives us another giant orb. This one seems intact. Is this a different structure? I think it is not. Alright, what did we have? 8 different biomes. 5 tree types. 11 structure types, 10 character races, 5 weapon classes, 2 sailing vessel kinds, 6 backpack varieties, 10 different creature species, and 4 different mounts. Amazing! Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more content. Good Guys Free here. See you soon.